Welcome to the Richard Lloyd USA YouTube channel. I'm Richard Lloyd. Today I'm doing a follow-up video on a DD-WRT router, the EA8300 that I did a video on. And in that video, I claimed that the only way to return it back from DD-WRT to the stock firmware was to use a serial connection. Well, I was mistaken. And Barkale YT told me all about it. So in this video, thank you Barkale, I'm going to give him the props for this one as he put the comment in and told me about it. I actually did find it about an hour before he told me, but regardless, he commented, he gets the credit. So thank you again at Barkale YT. Really appreciate your comments in the comment section below. Definitely put your comments down there. Anything you want to say to me, any suggestions, anything, especially advice like this. Love it. And I'm making a video out of it. So it could happen to you too. All right. What we're going to do is actually use the command line, which you can get to on DD-WRT, to reflash the firmware, the stock firmware back on the router. Really cool. Works really well. I've done all sorts of experimentation with it. No problem at all. And I've even created a script, which is on my webpage, and I'll put the link for that in the video description below. I will also put a link up there for the flashing the router to DD-WRT, as well as how to revert it back if you really brick it. I mean, this will not unbrick a bricked router. This video will not do it. But I got a video up there that uses a serial interface, and that will unbrick it. So take a look at that if you're having that problem. But this is just to take it back from DD-WRT to stock firmware. Now, I don't know why you'd want to do that. Maybe you're selling the router and you want the stock firmware on it. Other than that, I just don't see any reason. Okay, strong, emphatic warning before you do any of this. Do not do this over Wi-Fi, all right? Use an Ethernet cable connected to the back, directly to the back of the router and directly to the back of your PC or into your laptop or whatever computer you're using. It should be Ethernet port from the computer to Ethernet LAN port on the router. And if you don't have an Ethernet port on your computer or your PC, you can buy a little dongle like this for about $10 on Amazon. I'll put links for those in the video description below. They come in USB-A and USB-C and some combo like this one, and they are 1 gigabit in speed. They're, it's an amazing value, and I use them all the time. So if you don't have one, get one of those. Again, in the video description. And again, emphatic warning: Ethernet cable only between you and the router. Here we go. I'll put the link again in the video description below. It'll be a pinned comment. Let's go ahead with the instructions. And I'm going to follow this to the letter from the web page. Now, the toughest thing about doing this on this router will be finding the Linksys firmware for this router. I don't know why, but I swear it's not on the Linksys webpage. You cannot find it there. But I did find a link for it, and I got it right here on my webpage. So I'm going to follow the webpage to the letter so you know that it works perfectly. So first thing we're going to do here is download the applicable firmware image, which if you've gone looking for it, you know how hard it is to find. It's not on the Linksys webpage. If it is, it's buried somewhere. And Google can't find it. But what we're going to do is exactly what I say to do here on my webpage. I'm going to highlight the following right here and copy it, right? And then we're going to click on this crazy link here and download that file. And I'm going to download it to my downloads directory in an EA8300 folder. So downloads EA83. Put it where you wish, but I'm just going to keep it simple. Now I'm going to take this crazy file name here and just highlight it all, as I say here on my webpage, and then I'm going to paste what I've already copied into that. So right click it, paste. Right? Now we have something that makes more or less sense. And then you've got the EA8300 stock firmware downloaded in that folder. Now what we're going to do is navigate to the actual router itself. And so let's do that by clicking on this link. And there we go. I actually got it here already, but If you click on the link, it takes you to the router. Now, I'm already logged in. You may need to log into your router. So do that, log into it. Where you're going to end up is on the services page. And what you need to do is go down here to services. And, I've already turned it on, but I'm going to disable it here. Scroll down till you see Secure Shell SSH. And then click Enable and hit Save and Apply. There we go. Back to the page. So now we've done this part here. The reason we want that is because we're going to use SSH to, number one, copy a file to the router, and number two, get into the command line of the router so we can do this. Let's go to the command line as it says. Open a command window. We're going to go here. We're going to type in CMD. And then I'm going to run it as administrator. You don't have to, but I always do. There we go. Say yes. All right, that's it. We've got the window open. And what we need to do is go and, you copy this file to the actual router. And the way we're going to do that is, first of all, we got to go to the directory where that file is, right? So instead of writing some crazy command in here, I'm just going to type in CD and space and just copy it straight from the file browser. So you open up the file browser here, go to your downloads, and there's the EA8300. So what you do next is right click up here, or just click up here, and you'll see that it actually gives you the path where that file is, right? So here, just copy it and paste it in here. There we go, and just hit enter. Now you're in that directory, and that's great because we need to be there to copy the file, right? So we've got that. Minimize that or close that out of the way. Now, what we're going to do is upload that file over to the router. So there's a command to do that. Just copy it right off the page, paste it in here, hit enter, and you'll get this. So just type in yes to the question. Why will not work. You have to type the whole statement. So yeah, YES. I don't know why it didn't show up there, but anyway, here we're going to type in whatever your password is for your router, the administrator's password, and hit enter. And you can see it's transferred the file over to the router. So we'll keep moving on here. All right, so we've authenticated. Now we're going to go and type in this command right here. So just copy it and paste it over here. There you go. And hit enter. As you see, I again have to log in. There we go. And now we're inside the router, obviously, right? So it says type in ls /temp. What that will do is list everything in that temp directory. What we're looking for, so right click and paste it in there, is the EA8300 stock firmware image. So obviously it's in there, so we copied it over. Now when you reboot this router, it will disappear. Every time you reboot the router, the temp directory gets cleared out. So, don't go looking for it after you reboot the router. You got to copy it back in there again if you're going to do it again. Again, I did a whole script on this that will do this all automatically, but I wanted to show you what the actual steps are to do it manually so you understand what the script does too. So we've done that. Now here, the next thing we're going to do is take this command right here, copy it, paste it in like that. So right click on the black anywhere and it should paste in. Press enter, and you see right there, this gave us a 1. All right. Why that's important is because what we're looking for is which partition. There's 2 partitions on this router. There's a primary and a secondary. And one is the one that the router always uses. The second's a backup. That's an emergency backup, right? So right now the router is actually, DD-WRT is actually using partition 1, but it has flashed both partitions, because if you know what if you're installing DD-WRT on this router, the first thing you do is put one primary file to get the process started in. That goes on 1 or 2, and then, or let's just say it went on 1, right? Then you put a second file in there to finish the process. That would go on 2. In this case, obviously, mine went on 2, the primary, and the second one that finished the job was on 1. So Every time you flash it, you're actually switching partitions between one or the other. Get in the weeds a little bit, but that's how this router works. And it's a really cool thing to have, because if you ever trash it, there's always a chance that the rescue partition will help you out of that. And just so everybody knows how you get through that, or to the rescue partition, you can do it with the power switch on the router. It's really a cool thing. So what you do is you power down the router for 5 seconds, you power it up, and you wait 12 seconds, and then you power it down for another 5 seconds, and you repeat that process 3 times in a row. So, you do that same thing 3 times, and then shut the router off, turn it back on, and it will switch to the rescue partition. So if your EA8300 is not responding anymore, there is a second partition. That's how you get to it. There's other ways, but that's the simplest way. All right, so we know that my partition is 1. And if you look at my instructions, it says if the active partition is 1, then copy the following. Now, if you got a 2 on yours, then you copy this instruction right here. So we're just going to copy this one here. Copy it. And paste it in. And you can see it's it's flashing that router right now. As soon as I pasted it in, boom, off it went. All right. So we'll wait for that to finish here. I said press enter, but Windows just assumed it, I guess. There we go. So it says writing from temp to stock firmware to Linux 2. So what it's done is it has flashed the rescue partition, not the one I was using, the rescue partition. That way, when we reboot, we go into the rescue partition. What that means is that the DD-WRT that I'm using right now is still on the primary partition, but we're going to switch the router so that it doesn't boot off the DD-WRT partition, it boots off the Linksys partition. So the way you do that is keep scrolling down. You put this command in there. Now, as you see here, if the boot partition was 2, then you put this command in right here, right? But mine wasn't. Mine was 1. So we're going to set the router to boot off the partition 2 by using this command. Now you can, like I said, just follow the directions. They're right there. Hopefully they're as clear as they need to be. So here I'm just going to paste that command in here. There we go. Hit enter, right? And at this point, you just type reboot. And if you want to check if this command actually worked, back up here. Right? The command to check which partition is active, you just copy the one I already gave you right up here. Copy it. Paste it in here. If it'll let me paste. Nope. I did say copy, right? Copy. Paste. There we go. And mine was originally 1, but I just switched it with that other command, right? So now it's 2. So now I'm just going to type in reboot. And the router will kick me out, and it will reboot. At this point, this DD-WRT address will no longer work. It'll be Linksys. So I'll just pick it up when it's done rebooting here. All right, I've rebooted, and going to hit refresh here and make sure that I'm connected on. Yeah, I am. It even tells me Linksys EA right there. So I'm just going to try that IP address again, the default IP address, and there we go. We're getting the Linksys web page. And let me stretch that out a little bit. There we go. And the default password here is admin, and I do put that on my web page document. Hit enter, and you're in. Now, at this point, there are 2 different images on this router. There's the Linksys default image that it will always boot up to right now, right? And then on the rescue partition right now is the DD-WRT. Now, if you want to dual boot this router by using the switch and that 12-second procedure I told you, power it down for 5 seconds, up for 12, 5 down, up for 12, 5 down, up for 12, 5 down again, and then reboot the router, then you can switch between the 2. You can have DD-WRT on one and Linksys on the other. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but it's possible. Now, if you want to completely wipe it out, what you would need to do is go back here to connectivity and flash the same firmware file that we just got again, or you could do an online update, but it won't because this is the latest firmware, so it won't update it again. So here, we're just going to do a manual update of it just to wipe it out completely. So go to where I downloaded that file, EA8300, click on that stock file. There we go. And just hit start, and then it'll give you some grief about the file name. But anyway, update firmware, and off we go. I'll let this go and reboot again. After that, I'll flash it back to DD-WRT, and I'll show you how to use the script to do exactly the same thing we did manually this time. Got it back to DD-WRT, as you can see here, Linksys EA8300. So fully going here. Going to keep following my script and my web page on how to do this. Now, I have it set up as, you know, you're going to choose to do the script first and download the file and, you know, not do the top part. We've already done the download already, so we don't need to do the download again here. Next thing we're going to do is exactly the same as the other one. Click on the link here to the services page, scroll down, turn on the SSH, save and apply. And then we're going to go here to upload the factory stock image to the router. So same procedure again. We're going to open up a command window, CMD, as I always run it as an administrator. There we go. Yeah. Okay, and we're going to SCP that file to the temp directory, but first we got to go to change the directory to that correct one. So the same procedure again, exactly the same. The starting procedure is exactly the same as the top. So EA8300, click up here, Control C, copy it, right? Or right click it and choose copy. Come down here and just type in CD and space and right click in here. Hit enter. There we go. We're in the right directory. Now we're going to take this, copy it over to the router again. Copy. Paste the command in. Hit enter. Type in yes, the whole word, and hit enter. Then put your password in for that, your router, whatever it may be. And there it goes, transferring over to the router. Now, just continue on here. Now we have to SSH into it, into its command line. So let's just do that. Here we go. Again, log in. There we are. Now we're in the root directory of the router. Okay, here we're going to type in exactly what my web page says to do. Just copy this VI. So we're going to use the visual editor and edit this the Revert file. So revert.sh. So just copy it. Hit I, the letter I. Don't hit enter. Just hit the letter I, and then copy everything below this line. I'm going to do that myself here. And right to above this line. So copy it, paste it, just hit paste anyway. And now here you're going to hit the escape key, right? Then you're going to type the colon and WQ for write and quit, okay? So there we go. Now keep following the commands over here. And we're going to change its mode to executable. There it is. Just copy and paste it. And then we're just going to run the actual file itself. So copy and paste this. And then just hit enter. And just like that, off it goes, right? So I mean, it's up to you how you use it. If you know, if you trust the script, and you can, there's no problem with that. It does everything that you do manually above on my web page. So it's up to you how you do it. Now it's done. It's going to wait for 10 seconds and then it's going to reboot, right? And you'll see it there. All right. So at this point, the router will reboot. I'll pick it up after the router reboots, and I'll show you that it is running the Linksys EA83 stock firmware now as well. All right, going back to it here, you can see that Linksys is showing up. Excuse me. I'm going to close this off. Don't need that in there distracting us. So yeah, the second method is just cut and paste, right? So it works just fine. But like I said, I wanted to explain what was going on with the manual system. Some people like the manual, some people like the automatic. It's up to you. So there we are, right back in again. Now remember, this is just flashed one of the partitions. There's two. So if you want to completely wipe it all out, just, you know, choose the file here. Go to your EA83 stock firmware image here. You know, click on it, hit open, hit start, say yes, and off it goes. All right. So that's how you take a EA8300 Linksys back from DD-WRT to the stock firmware. Now, I love this router. I think it's a great little router. There's some really neat things about it, like it has two 5 gigahertz radios in it, not just one, and a 2.4 gigahertz radio. So kind of specifically, you know, unique in that sense. Well, not really unique, but neat in that way. And I'm going to do some more videos with this router showing you what you can do with those two radios. You know, so stay tuned for that in the future. But regardless, like the router, you're not great deal for under $30, you know, and it runs DD-WRT really fine. Also, my tail scale router was this one on my first video, and it can be overclocked to 1200 you know, megahertz. So not all of them can do that, but this one can. So cool, right? That's it for my video. Thanks for watching. If you like this video and it helped you out in some way, do me a huge favor. Give me a thumbs up, a like at the bottom there. That helps my channel to grow on YouTube and helps this video to be recommended to other people. Also, the comment section below, put your comments, suggestions, whatever you have to say to me in the comment section. I read them daily, I respond to them daily, and I really appreciate your feedback. Obviously, this video was kind of a feedback video from somebody, so really cool, love that, keep that coming. Like I said, I really appreciate your feedback. In the video description, I'll have links for the hardware and other things like the USB Ethernet adapter. Use those links. They're affiliate links. They help me out a little bit, and they don't cost you any more than going just directly to Amazon and buying it anyway. So you're doing me a favor, and it doesn't cost you anything. Another thing that doesn't cost you anything is subscribing to my channel. So click the subscribe button as part of that process. Click the bell icon, and then you'll be notified every time I put up a new video, and then you can watch it at your own leisure. Once again, and like always, take care of yourself, take care of others, stay healthy, stay happy, and we'll see you in the next video.